What up, Eagles?
What's up, guys? We are back, episode 115.
Episode 115. And today we are going to talk about something that, listen, we might be slightly obsessive over.
I get an A plus in this department.
You get an A plus.
I'm giving myself too much credit.
Hold that thought. But we are going to talk about formula for date night. And listen, because you said that, I just thought of a point that we do not have on these cards, but that is okay.
Okay.
But anywho, y'all, we're going to talk about date nights because you know that we are diving deep into the 5 F's, which are faith, family, fitness, finances and fun, right? So date night, when you are married, I mean, it covers 2 of the F's, right? Which is family, because you know your spouse should feel like your family, or they are your family, and then fun. But unfortunately, we know that life just starts lifing and happening, and we have all these responsibilities, and sometimes we don't always prioritize date night.
So we are going to show you guys, or tell you guys, how to not put it or at the back burner.
Yeah.
Right? How to keep it at the forefront of your relationships and your marriage.
Yeah, we're just going to share a couple tips. And I do have to be honest, though, okay? I was actually talking to a young lady, and I am nowhere am I advocating for teen pregnancy, but you all know that Corey and I had our first son, or maybe you don't know, we had our first son, Corey, when I was 19 years old. And the deal with having him so young, we probably had the opposite experience that most people have, where your life kind of stops because you have a child, and we had him out of wedlock. Whereas the minute that I had little Corey, both your mom and my mom were so adamant about helping, because I think at their point, their thing was like, we are not going to let the fact, first of all, they love their grandkid. They loved us, but I was still in college. So I remember your mother like calling me, making sure she had my schedule. She and my mom would work out like a time so that they can have him, so that we couldn't continue to advance in life because we had a kid.
Yeah.
When we had Cameron, though, 11 years later, some of the same, like we weren't able to just, not only were we not able to come and go, but I feel like our energy level and just where we were in the marriage looked different, and it made dating a little bit more challenging. What is your take on that?
Yeah, we were with him a lot more as a baby. But I was adamant about us maybe not going out as much during, 2 or 3 times during the week, but we took trips.
Yeah.
A lot of trips you didn't want to go on.
Nope. I was nursing, y'all. You know how it is when like you're nursing, and Corey would he would want to make sure that, because we had to adapt, that we did like a little staycation or overnight stay. And like, I remember missing my baby so much that it felt like I would burst, literally and figuratively. But you were like, no, this is non-negotiable, because you needed us to have that time with us.
Yeah, you still have to connect, right, as husband and wife. And to this day, I still think it's important, for you to get on a rhythm, right? At least try to stay on the rhythm. Life kind of gets in the way sometimes, but I think it's important for you to prioritize or put time aside for just you and that person.
Yeah. And I think that the beautiful thing there, and we made some adjustments. I remember at one point your sister came to live with us to help with the baby, and not just so that we could go on dates, but just like we had to look to see, okay, where can we just have leverage, and how can we do our life where, even though we have these children that we absolutely love, but we are still prioritizing mommy and daddy and making sure that we're connected. And that isn't always easy. So that's what I just want to start off by saying, is that, I know you might even be scrolling and, hashtag date night pictures. And I know that we're good for it, but there was a point in our marriage where the dates, I'm not gonna say they weren't fun, but it felt like it would have been easier to stay home.
Yeah.
But we honored that rhythm, and now years later, I'm so grateful that we did.
Yeah, I think also, so where do I want to start with this conversation? Let's start with, it doesn't matter who plans the date.
Okay, so you're going into the tips that we're gonna give. Okay,
yeah.
So what Corey is starting to talk about is, like, what are some of the things that we just want y'all to be mindful of? Because sometimes there are roadblocks that prevent us from getting out with our spouse. So the first one you're saying is it don't matter who planning.
Yeah, and I want to make sure that I'm heard on that point, because a lot of times people kind of sit back and, you know, all week and wait on that phone call or that text message like, hey, on Saturday I booked this for here, or, you know, Friday we're going here, as opposed to just doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did that about a week and a half ago, right?
You did.
I just sent you the email like, this is where we're gonna be.
Yeah.
So I think that's important to just get it done, and don't let the scale, you know, be one way.
Yeah, you did it 4 times.
Exactly.
Now it's my time.
For sure.
And I get it, y'all. And I hear this a lot. I'm happy that you brought this up, because I hear this a lot from women that I have had an opportunity to just chat with, and they'll be like, well, we don't ever do nothing because he never want to do nothing, or he don't do this and he don't plan that. And then my thing is, sometimes you have to look at like, what is the overall goal? Okay. If the overall goal is for us to connect in the grand scheme of things, and this is the question that I ask a lot of times, hey, even though he's not a planner, if you plan it, will he go? Yeah, he'll do anything I want him to do.
Yeah.
Okay, so in the grand scheme of things, if the goal is to connect, why would we risk not having that connection time because of who opened up Open Table and booked it?
Exactly.
Right? And I'm thinking about, I was listening to a podcast with Gary Vee, and it was a business podcast, but he made a comment that stuck with me, is that he said sometimes you have to fall in love with the micro loss to get the macro win. And when you think of that, like, yeah, if I quote unquote lose every time, and that's just some things in marriage that are not 50-50, right? How many times since Cameron been alive have you woke him up for school? 7.
And 3 walks to the bus.
Right? You know, so sometimes, but how many times have I paid the mortgage? Never. You know what I mean? And I mean, and that it could be something totally different. Like, it's just sometimes, you know, we have to decide like, hey, I even hate to look at it as taking an L, but hey, this is just the road that I take. And if this works for us, then it doesn't matter who gets us there, just as long as we get there.
Yeah. Thank you for waking my son up every morning and putting him on.
Every morning. Do you hear me? Yeah. This morning, side note, y'all, this morning it was raining. And I had told you, I was like, look, I'm about to wink. We can spend some time together, wink, if you take Cameron to the bus. Corey said we could spend time together tomorrow. like I couldn't even entice you.
True story. I'll be having to get mad. Okay. Where I want to go also with this, another tip. This is where I'm at in my life, in my marriage. And a couple of episodes ago, I mentioned this, that we had just went to Jamaica last month.
Yeah.
And it was cool, but it was familiar, right? Yeah. We didn't like this particular resort.
Right, but
it was familiar. So now, it don't have to be as big as going to Jamaica, but now I'm forcing myself to get out of my comfort zone and I'm trying new things with you.
Yes.
One of them is, I don't know if I told you this, but it's been 217 degrees for the last 2 months, right? Now we're down in the 80s, and the nights are perfect, by the way. We are about to start our nightly bike rides.
You did tell me this. So you saying try some, like, don't freak. It's okay. So this is point number 2. It's okay to do familiar stuff.
Yeah.
But don't be too scared to like switch it up and find ways to spend time together.
Well, you know, I'm very I think in my long time, and when I think about our dating life, if it's not travel, most of our dates involve food.
And in my George W. Bush year,
as
I age, I cannot be
right. So I gotta switch it up. I gotta switch it up. So that's just one thing that we're about to do. The second thing is, I love the fact that the last time you and our son were in Chicago, that y'all dated the city.
Yes.
That's on my list.
Yeah.
I can't give y'all all my secrets, but the point that I make, so we're gonna be dating the city of Dallas. I'm talking tour bus, the whole 9 yards.
Okay. You gonna plan it?
Yeah, I'm gonna plan it.
Okay.
But I'm saying that because I'm even getting outside of my own comfort when it comes to new things in our dating life.
Okay, so we're kind of like giving you an oxymoron here, y'all, because what we are saying, because this is a roadblock for some people. I don't want to go because he don't want to do nothing fun.
Yeah.
Right? Or she don't want to do nothing fun. Or maybe they're like, it's just too adventurous. Like, can we find a balance? Can we agree that if, Chili's is his jam, you will go eat Chili's, right? And if that's all y'all do, look, it's better to eat Chili's than to look up and y'all been married for 30 years and you can't remember the time y'all went out to eat, right?
Right.
But don't be afraid to switch it up and do something a little bit different. Get out of your comfort zone,
Yeah, for
right? Sure. And one thing that I will say that I appreciate more about you, and I don't know if this is because we are maturing, but which sometimes I don't understand why you would say no. But I will say that you are showing more flexibility. I used to get very frustrated with your no's. Because like even down to restaurants, I feel like you like the same restaurant, just a different version of it. But now you're showing more flexibility.
Yeah.
Even like when we would go on vacation, y'all, Corey would sit up and sweat.
In the cabana I wouldn't put my big toe in the water.
Baby toe wouldn't go in the water. He'd
Right.
be sweating. And I'm in the pool like, why don't you come with me? So just showing some flexibility. And then also, I think we have to give our spouses space to show flexibility.
But let me tell you,
Why?
no, I want to tell you what flicked the switch on now to be on the resort or just somewhere, right? In the water, in the pool.
I know what, but go ahead.
I built the pool.
Nope.
Yeah, it is.
Nope.
Okay.
I'm not arguing with you about that because this goes into our next point too.
Okay.
I think that what we have done is that we have started hanging out. Now, all of our days are not with other people, but I can think of the very first time you like willingly got down to the resort and got in the pool. It's when we was on vacation with Johnny and them.
Okay.
Because sometimes it just takes, getting you outside of your comfort zone. But I'm gonna tell you, wives and husbands, like, don't be the one like when we was with Rufus and them, you got in the water.
Rufus.
I just have to accept, like, you know what? Sometimes you just have to be in a comfortable environment, and now that has translated. So that's another point that we have is don't be afraid to like go on some group dates, right? Don't be afraid to go on a date with a couple. Don't be afraid of a couple vacation. But we got to be careful because we don't want every interaction that we have to be dependent on the fact that we with somebody else. Because
they become buffers.
Yes. We don't know how to spend time with each other, so now we got to spend time with somebody else.
Yeah, but also I built the pool.
You did build the pool. The pool did help, but I'm just saying because now we probably, me and you both this year have probably been in our pool more because it was so hot,
right?
Yes.
So now I'm kind of before, especially if the water was freezing, I'm not getting in that water. I don't care if we in Bahamas or the backyard; it's just not happening.
Yeah,
but I'm more comfortable now going ahead and getting in the water.
Yeah. And I have to learn like not to be mad at you over petty stuff. Like sometimes we pick a petty, like, you don't want to get in the water. Okay, you don't want to get in the water, but can you sit here and like instead of looking at your phone, talk to me while I'm in the water.
Or sit on the edge of the water.
Sit on the edge
while I'm in the water.
Come on, sit on the edge. Like, bring me my drinks. Like, don't make me get out the pool to go fill up my cup. Like, at least be right here. Okay, so let's back it up a little bit.
We are funny about it.
We are hilarious. Listen, why are we not on the top of the charts? I don't know. Something wrong with y'all, not us. But getting back to, I think the very first thing, we kind of fast forwarded talking about like who should plan or not. I do think that as a couple, there needs to be a decision on what is the non-negotiable rhythm, right? How often are we going to date? Are we going to spend time together? And the key is to make that non-negotiable. And we understand that it depends on the life season that you're in. Yeah. But I'm gonna make a bold statement. Okay, get in comments. I don't care if you're mad at me. 2 weeks should not pass. Once a month is not enough.
Yeah,
it ain't enough. I don't even care if your kids are little. I feel like even if once a month y'all get out of the house, but the other time of the month y'all make an effort to give homie some melatonin, whatever you got to do so that y'all can sit together, so that y'all can go for a walk, so that you can do whatever. I mean, I'm not telling you drug your kid, but you know what I'm saying. Melatonin is natural. Okay?
Right. I know what you're saying.
But
they know what you're saying.
There should be an agreed upon rhythm where we know. And then I'm going to tell y'all something else, y'all. One of the best things you can do for your children is them watching you prioritize your marriage.
Yeah.
That's probably the number one game changer we've done with our boys.
Yeah. Okay. So a couple of things there.
What's our rhythm? Tell them.
Okay. Our rhythm is, okay. It really depends on the time of year. Okay. Especially if he's not in school.
Yeah.
Right? Because, and again, we got a 23-year-old. So, boom, we can jump on the jet tomorrow and be gone for a couple of days. But during the school year.
Date night rhythm, not vacation.
Yeah.
Okay.
During the school year, I would say 1 to 2 days a week. And let me explain what I mean. When people say date, they automatically think typically food or be going somewhere, right? Our 1 is going to be going somewhere, whether it's food or not.
Yeah.
Our 2 normally is a hot tub. Normally.
Yeah. Or we've done walks.
Yeah,
or,
I mean, we do walks.
Just some time where we can be like separate ourselves and talk.
Yeah. So I realize, and no shine to you, you're a hardworking woman. You deserve all the sleep you can get. We can't do movie night because you don't make it through movie night. So I had to reverse engineer the situation. Let me get her up off the couch in the water talking to me. Right? We on the date, and it was 20 steps. Right? But it works for me. It works for you. So that's typically our second date of the week.
Yeah, I cannot. Or again, just like, what does that look like? Like, can you go on a walk? And you know what is weird? I'm just thinking to myself, if when I was growing up, God bless my parents, if they said, okay, we finna go for a walk and talk, I knew they was coming back and breaking up.
It took you out. Right.
Cause they didn't do that. You know what I'm saying? They didn't spend time with each other like that. I honestly, other than going to like the occasional concert, I cannot really remember them spending time together.
Yeah.
So, but what a difference a weekly walk would have made, right?
For sure.
So figure out what your rhythm is, right? And make it non-negotiable. Now, don't walk into your spouse's room and be like, we going on a date every Friday. Like,
right. Yeah.
Be respectful about where they are.
Don't summons him to the date.
Don't summons, right? Bring it like what can we commit to, and explaining like what it can look like.
So let's go back a little bit. I want to park right where you were at.
Okay.
With the older generation, that because when you're talking about your parents, you're talking about mine too. My parents didn't date, and if we
They be
went,
going to Red Lobster.
I would say if we went somewhere, it was to Red Lobster or my mother drugged my father to Frankie Beverly and Mays for like the 74th time, right? Those that I remember as a kid.
Yeah.
At least. Why do you think that was?
You know, I don't know.
Okay.
I do.
Me neither. So we're telling you guys to change the lineage, right? Just moving forward, pay attention to this episode because it'll benefit.
Okay, because we talk about things like generational curses, but you're right. Like this could be just something that you pass down. And this is one thing that I will tell you about my generation, my friends, is that I think that we just get caught up with busyness, right? I think that the kid got to be here, they got to be there. This has to happen. But I'm like, did you the one registering for soccer, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying that your kids shouldn't do sports. And full disclosure, me and Corey are not sports people, so that's not our testimony. But what I am saying is that we need to just make sure, like, if your date is in between games, we let Keisha mama watch Junior while we run and get a hot dog by ourselves. Like, you just have to make it fit in where it get in.
Yeah.
We do have a guide for you because we are really passionate about date night because of the connection that it can create or should create in your marriage. So eagletalkpodcast.com/date night. We're going to go over these points, but something else that you're going to get there is one of the biggest tricks that I think the people don't talk about enough, and this is a challenge to date night, is that them dates be stale.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know about you all. I'm going to be, first of all, I love you. Give me your hand. You are my man. But let me tell you something. There was a time in our life.
Well, we here, but now what?
Now what? Like, I remember one time, like, being at Texas Roadhouse looking like, like for real. I remember being like looking around, like, where can I grab something to talk about? Like, oh, when did they start showing a game at Texas Roadhouse? You know?
Always.
Exactly right. He'll give me a one-word answer.
Right.
And then, God forbid, you pull out your cell phone.
Yeah.
Oh, then they're gone.
It's
They're
over
gone
with.
forever.
Yep.
So we understand that one of the biggest challenges in date night is that we've lost connection. We've lost the ability to have conversations, to be friends. And we're going to tell y'all our trick. We've told you before, but I think that this strategy, I hate to say strategy when you talk about marriage.
Lay it on them.
No, you lay them on them because you hated it. But what is the one thing that you think that probably not only got our date nights popping, but got us on the podcast?
Should I give it to him?
You give them to him. Give them to him.
Staycations.
No.
It is for me.
No, not staycations.
Oh. The questions.
Y'all.
Okay. I don't know. Yeah. Questions are. I wouldn't say if you know each other. It's not icebreakers. Questions are. I don't know. It's just a more natural way of communicating.
A natural, like it's almost like table talk. So what I would do is I would go on like Pinterest, and I don't even know. Honestly, I can remember one of the first times we played a quote unquote question game. It wasn't a date night. It was at your old house in Lansing, and like we stayed up, and it was like a trivia, like how much do you know me? How much do I know you? Yeah. And we'd been together like 8 years, so we would ask each other questions like, "What's my grandma's middle name?"
Yeah.
Like,
we still finding out just dumb stuff.
Yeah, it's just silly stuff. But then it would evolve. And I remember one time when we just didn't have anything to talk about, I like looked and I was like, so, just found questions like, tell me about your favorite grade school memory. What's the best gift you've ever received?
Yeah.
And not only did those questions help us to have something to talk about when we really didn't have anything to talk about, like imagine going to a networking event and you have icebreakers, right? But we got to know each other. Yeah. Then the conversation was low risk. We didn't sit there, mouth stuck out because we were thinking about bills or what wasn't going well. It just gave us a way to get to know each other. And I truly think that these questions were a way that our friendship started to blossom.
Yeah, no, I think that I think we grew right there. Yeah. Right? Something so small.
Something so small.
And it didn't require us to think.
It didn't require us to think. Yeah. So, y'all, when you go to that resource, not only are we going to give you just kind of our tips, our formula for a successful date night rhythm in your marriage, but we're going to give you just some tabletop questions. Like, what are some things to talk about? Now, and then, so start off with our questions. Then, like I said, you can Google or Pinterest some more. But let me give you a precursor when you're looking for questions. Use wisdom, right? Don't be reading a question like, "Who was your one true love?"
Yeah, right.
And you just wait for her to say his first baby mama. Like, come on, like, don't use wisdom. Don't stir the pot. Make sure that you're using some questions. And we actually have a book that I'm going to link to this episode, like what to do while you're alone. It's a whole book of questions that we had before, but. So.
All right, y'all. This was a very fun episode for me.
It was fun for me.
But we're gonna.
I apologize for calling you a name.
No. Don't apologize. It ain't the first. No, I'm just playing. All right, guys. This is the end of episode 115. Thank you for being here with us again. It's getting gooder and gooder as we promised for this season of Eagle Talk.
Yes, and listen, go rate the podcast and hit that share button. Anybody that you know that is married, I don't care if they've been married a day or 100 days or just desires to learn how to connect a little bit better, I know this episode will help them.
All right. We'll see y'all on the next one.
Bye, friends.